Qingque is perhaps one of the best characters in the entire game, and she has been loved and adored by so many people ever since the game's release. Not only because her character is honestly just such a mood, with the fact that she's even trying to avoid doing as much work as possible, despite her boss being Fu Xuan, somebody who can literally look into the future. And she's able to get away with this, which is just incredible. But there's also the fact that her gameplay is so unique and excellent. Like, the whole mechanic with the tiles is just filled with so much flavor that genuinely makes her gameplay be so much fun. It feels like you're playing a game inside of a game. To be fair though, this also can be very frustrating just as it is rewarding. Because while you can line up all of your buffs and get incredibly lucky with the Jade tile draws, you're able to do maximum damage, there's also the chance that you may not get the 4 of a kind and get very unlucky, where you also might end up not getting a follow-up attack and you're essentially just yeeting a wet noodle at the opponent. And it is rough. It sucks so much. It feels like all the anticipation in order to get that one Jade to win it big and deal massive damage can definitely make or break it. There's also the fact that I'm not sure how many of you all have experienced this or how often you all have experienced this, but doesn't it just feel unethical when you attack with Qingque and then she doesn't even crit? Like, you don't get an empower tap, you don't get a follow-up attack, and then you don't even get a crit. And that last part just feels a tad bit too hurtful for me. But regardless of it all, throughout this video, we will be going through Qingque's gameplay, flavor design, and impact. For more context and information, please feel free to check out my video on the perfect Star Rail character, where I go in depth more about these categories and even give out fleshed out examples on every single one of them. In short though, gameplay essentially revolves around anything related to attack, skills, synergies, ultimates, anything you actually do within combat. Flavor design, on the other hand, is not game related at all. It encompasses most of the things, such as animations, voice lines, their outfits, their text messages, anything that gives the character more life. And last but not least, we have impact, which is essentially their story relevance and how they have provided an impact on other characters, as well as into themselves or just the world around them in general. With all of that being said, let us see why Qingque is perfectly designed. I feel like it would be an absolute sin if I didn't start off by mentioning Qingque's gameplay, especially with how much it revolves around the Jade tiles and Celestial Jade as a whole, which is a big part of Qingque and something that she genuinely adores so much to the point that, heck, she literally even brought it into combat, which I find that to be honestly quite amazing. The way that Qingque's gameplay works is that she needs to collect 4 different tiles, all of the same suit, in order to enhance her next attack into an empowered attack. And she's also capable of drawing a tile at the beginning of an ally's turn, including her own, and her skill lets her draw 2 times 4 tiles. This is in order for you to be able to actually get that empowered attack, but it also provides you with a nice attack buff, in my opinion. One of the things that I genuinely adore about it though is that even though you may not get the empowered attack, she ends up just yeeting whatever tile she has that doesn't fit the suit, whichever she doesn't have most of, she just yeets against an opponent. And I think that's honestly so much fun, especially because one of her voice lines whenever she attacks is, "I don't need this tile." She just says like, "No, fuck it, poo-poom." And low-key, it is quite surprising how much power she's able to yeet these tiles at, because technically speaking, she trains to do that. Let me explain. So one of the things that you learn from her dialogue lines is that apparently one time she injured her wrist playing Celestial Jade. And she earned Bailu's respect from that, to the point that she gave her advice on how to train her wrist to improve her gaming. So she has a Giga. No wonder those things do so much damage. That aside though, it is honestly so great how she was able to gain the respect of Bailu. Because even though, yes, she is a child, she's still the Dragon Lady. She's still like the High Elder of the Vidyadhara. So that just blows my mind personally. But her Gamba edition doesn't really end in the way that she is and the way that she acts. It even moves into the way that she exists. Because even through her clothing, you can see all of these like Gamba aesthetics. For example, the hairpin that she has on her head is literally that of the bamboo suit in the regular game of Mahjong. And what I found to be very interesting about it is that in these sets of Mahjong, the number 1 tile is a bird rather than a bamboo. And this bird in particular is a sparrow. Something that is actually related to Qingque's name. Since apparently, I did not know this until like doing this research, Qingque apparently is the etymology for green sparrow, which also would tie in with how her clothes are, which just feels absolutely great. On top of that as well, there is the fact that her clothing just seems to fit too well the tables where they play Celestial Jade at. I'm not sure, I feel like I'm going on a stretch here, but it kind of feels like she's hiding in plain sight by using clothes that blend in with a gaming parlor as well, wherever she is. I don't know, that might just be a theory of mine, so do take that last one with a little bit of a grain of salt. The other thing that I personally thought it was amazing was how her tiles, whenever she uses her ultimate, change into fish. And I was so confused by this until I learned that apparently there's a word called moyu. I hope I pronounced that right, but I know I pronounced it horribly, so I do apologize for that. But essentially the translation means it's touching fish, which is apparently slang for slacking off. And it fits her so well because not only is she just wanting to skip all these things, but on top of it all, you know, whenever you use your ultimate, you don't do any work. You don't rely on luck. You just say, screw it, I'm gonna use my power auto attack. You just slack off the entire process and just go for the win. So it is fitting that whenever you use the ultimate, all of your tiles change to fish, kind of symbolizing that you cheated. But at the same time, whenever you do actually get it legitimately and then you use your ultimate, you will still remain with the tiles that you had. They will not change into fish because you did genuinely work for that effort. And that is just such little attention to detail that I personally adore so much. Another thing that is important to point out about Qingque, and while I cannot say that I respect this, it's more than anything like, I'm intrigued that you're able to do this. It's how she has a very strict way of considering work gaming time. One of her voice ends says, you know, hey, oh, you want to play Celestial Jade? Come find me at work during shift. I'm like, excuse me? Don't you mean like out of shift? No, because like she thinks that whenever she is playing Celestial Jade, she's essentially just profiting by not doing work, but still getting paid, which she's not wrong, but at the same time, it's like, you shouldn't be doing that. Still though, I mean, she's able to get away with it, which is honestly quite surprising. But she doesn't only play Celestial Jade, because she also loves to read. And this is something that I genuinely only learned about that recently. And I learned it because in her voice and for knowledge, she mentions how she likes reading books as part of her hobbies and even during work. But the most, I guess, obvious example of this is her light cone, where literally you see her stacking the celestial tiles into like a little home. She's reading a book, and in the passage itself of the light cone, it says how she can just work very slowly and make sure to get everything done by the end of the day and not getting trouble while still slacking off and essentially not doing anything. And you know what? You gotta respect that. But even then, she even has a backup plan. Because literally, She knows how the matrix of prescience takes a toll on Fu Xuan to the point where she needs a lot of sugar, and she has sweets already prepared by her side to give Fu Xuan in order to not make her angry. She's essentially saying, "Hey, I know that I got caught not doing work and essentially not doing anything, but would you like a sweet?" And it works because it literally alleviates Fu Xuan's migraines and ginormous headaches. That the freaking power of the eye, I forget what it was called, but whatever news gave Fu Xuan gives her massive headaches, and it makes so much sense. And you got to admit that it is very, very impressive how even when she's being chased down by Fu Xuan, she still will try to slack off. Because in one of Queen Ivan's voice lines, you even hear how she can tell what's Qingque's mood. Because if she won, she will have like a specific color on her face. If she's pale, it's because she lost. And if she's really pale, that means Fu Xuan is looking for her. And even when Fu Xuan's looking for her, she stops to watch the show. It's like, it blows my mind. How can you be both so irresponsible but so daring at the same time? And I just find it amusing how, they have like many departments in the Shanzhou Laofu. And Huohuo even comments about Qingque being able to slack off all day. And she's like, "Oh, when I'm off work, she's off work. And when I'm at work, she's also off work." I'm like, "Excuse me?" And she's like, "Oh, they probably don't have that much work at the Divination Commission, huh?" And I'm like, you would be wrong about that one. It's just Qingque is very, very sneaky. However, and I do want to make this very clear, the fact that she is lazy doesn't, under any circumstances, mean that she is dumb. Take into account that Qingque is trying to elude Fu Xuan, the master diviner, someone who can literally look into the future, and from the voice lines and from everything that we've been seeing, appears to genuinely be surveilling Qingque's actions over and over again. Because one of the things that she keeps on saying is, "Oh, I hope Master Diviner doesn't find out. Oh, I hope Master Diviner doesn't look for me here." And you're like, why is it always the Master Diviners? Because nobody else can find her. That is how smart she genuinely is. And even more so, honestly, because in one of the voice lines that Fu Xuan has, whenever you add her into a team that already has Qingque in it, she acts incredibly surprised. She just goes like, "Qingque? I mean, I obviously knew that you were coming here, so I've been waiting this whole time." You're like, "Huh? What do you mean by that?" Like, legitimately, it's so surprising that even the person that is supposed to know almost everything that there is to be and that there will be is shocked by encountering Qingque in the Trailblazers party. Heck, some other things that genuinely show how smart Qingque is are voice lines such as that of Tingyun's, who literally mentions how she sees Qingque over and over and over again at the gaming parlor, yet she knows for a fact that the Divination Commission is always busy. Like, it's incredibly busy, to the point that it is shocking that someone from there is just leisurely spending time doing things that are not work. And it's not that Qingque is not doing work, because she does do the work. She just completes it very slowly, because she doesn't want to finish early. Finishing early means that they would look at her and be like, "Oh, you're so efficient, here's more work." And finishing late means that she's gonna get scolded. So she's going for that in-between that makes it be somewhere comfortable for her, somewhere where she can just be herself and not have to worry about anything else. In one of her storylines, it is even mentioned how she will give promotions to other people. One, because getting a promotion does mean getting more work, even though in some cases it does give you more flexible time. But as a bonus for Qingque, her giving up these promotions and having other people take them essentially means she can cash in favors from these people that she has allowed to get promoted over her. That is so sneaky, yet so big brain. And being sneaky genuinely feels like it's something of Qingque's characteristics as a whole. Because in another one of her storylines, this is like her story 1, it is literally mentioned how throughout all her time in early education, she would score 60. A literal perfect 60. Always and every single time. Which people at first were like, the professors at first were like, huh, she's just an average kid. But eventually they kind of realized, hey, like, getting a 60 and 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 a 60 over and over and over and over again, it's a little bit wild, isn't it? That is when they actually realize that she's like incredibly smart. She just doesn't want to stand out. And I feel like that's just so fitting. Because that way she wouldn't be able to get like praise or be told like, hey, do this, hey, do that. She could just slide by under the radar and nobody was gonna follow her. Which is honestly such a good mentality for her to have, not for you to have. If you're watching this video, do the thing that you're trying to do. Genuinely, I do feel like I'm like getting more inspired to do more things, and this is a quick plug to say, yeah, I don't know. I'm just having a lot of fun designing a website that I'm hoping I can show you all by the time that the next video is coming up. I'm very excited for it. But I'm not gonna spoil too much about it. Sorry for the quick little plug in there. Anyways, other things that genuinely show how smart Qingque is are storylines such as the one in Crepuscular Zone. I forgot the names of the quest, but it was one where Fu Xuan was possessed by a Heliobi, and she was the one to ultimately convince Fu Xuan to free herself from the control of this evil spirit. She's the one that's able to essentially be like, hey, destiny is not predetermined, and our actions can change things. We're not facing destiny alone. We have other people that can influence our present and future. And one of the things that I personally adore from that moment in the storyline is how she compares life to a game of Celestial Jade. Well, where essentially, yes, you do have control over your own tiles. You don't have control over what other people will do. But you do know for a fact that when you do something, it might influence the ability of somebody else. And then that ability of acting of somebody else will be afflicted by the next one, and so on and so on and so on. And it just leads to an infinite number of patterns of games. It's never the same, even though the tiles are always the same. On top of that, the one thing that I personally found so freaking awesome about that storyline is how Qingque tried to be so sneaky. When Heliobi possessed Fu Xuan fired her, she was like, oh well, I mean, remember how you fired me? I would like my severance package and a lot of compensation so I can start my own gaming parlor and never have to work again. And Fu Xuan was like, huh? Excuse me? What do you mean by that? And then she immediately goes like, you know what? I don't recall anything that happened while I was possessed by the Heliobi. So let's just assume that that didn't count. So I don't have to pay you and you can keep working here. That is how you can tell that Fu Xuan respects Qingque's ideas, because she knows for a fact if Qingque had gone with that idea, she would have made it big. And she needs Qingque to keep some things in line within the Divination Commission. At the same time, you can also see how Qingque knows when she needs to back off, because had she kept on pleading and talking to Fu Xuan, she would have gotten nowhere, because Fu Xuan was not going to change her decision, ever. She will always want to keep Qingque in the Divination Commission because she's an actually amazing worker and someone that she genuinely respects, even though she is a bit lazy. However, last but not least, and the one thing that I wanted to say for the end, because I thought that, like, this one genuinely blew my mind, right? It is the fact that Qingque not only rediscovered Celestial Jade, but she essentially reinvented it. Celestial Jade, that game that she is so obsessed with, was long gone in Shansu Laofu history. Like, it had disappeared. It ceased to exist because history decided to do so. And then she found out data about this, and she was like, this sounds like such a fun game. And it's a perfect excuse for me to slack off and not do things while I train my brain. So, in her mind, she was like, what if I just trick other people from the Divination Commission to help me figure this out? So, she got her own team to revive this game into the future and be like, yeah, no, like now that we have it done, I can game. You gotta admit that it is quite impressive, and something that backs up the fact that she was the creator of Celestial Jade, not creator, but the one that brought back Celestial Jade into the Shansu Laofu, are her storyline 3, and the fact that Bailu literally confirms it, saying that, oh, I wish I had met the creator of Celestial Jade sooner. When you talk to her in regards to about Qingque, this literal child brought a game back from the dead, took all of that effort, and was able to succeed. And again, it's not because she doesn't know how to succeed or because she's too lazy to succeed. She's too lazy because she doesn't want to work. And I feel like that is an interesting and very important comparison to make, because it is not that she is inept, because she is actually really smart and she's able to produce results when they are needed from her. Otherwise, if she had genuinely been too lazy to do all those works that she actually needed to do, she would never have helped us in the story at the Shansu Laofu. She would have never been our guide. She would have never done all these sort of things that was asked and demanded of her. So, all things considered, if you really are thinking that Qingque is dumb or stupid or anything like that, or you have any negative comments about her, just know that she might be one of the smartest characters in all of the Shansu Laofu, and most of us didn't really know it. But yeah, with all that being said and done, honestly this video has been a lot of fun. I do apologize because I don't know why I have been unable to remove the wind background noise of my fans. Usually this microphone doesn't pick them up, but I haven't been able to fix it. So if this video does sound a bit weird, I do apologize for that. It is entirely my bad. I'm hoping by the next video I'm able to fix this problem. So if you have been up to this point of the video despite the fan noises, holy shit, I appreciate you. Like, genuinely, you're absolutely amazing. You're just the best. Finding information about Qingque was incredibly fun. Getting to know she was the essentially creator of Celestial Jade was the thing that blew my mind away. I was like, there's no freaking way. And then I started looking more and more and more into the character, and I'm like, holy shit, there is a way. Something that I also just realized that I didn't mention about her outfit design is how I believe in that back, on like the left side of her back, she has a little bird, or I think it was in her hair. That bird is supposed to be a sparrow, which again symbolizes itself well with the fact that her name is Green Sparrow in the etymology. And another thing that backs this up is the fact that her profile picture in the Ghostly Grove little web event inside of Stariel, where you do the ghost hunting squad, is also a bird. So hey, you know what? You gotta love that attention to detail. So yeah, thank you very much for watching up to this point in this video. I know it is a lot, so I really do appreciate you for your time. If you enjoy this sort of content and you want to see more, then please be sure to subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to dish out one of these videos a week, and I've seen people enjoy these, so it genuinely warms my heart. Heck, we have surpassed 600 subscribers, which I never would have believed me being able to do that. But on top of that, we reached the first phase of YouTube partner. We are officially YouTube partnered, and I'm honestly just so grateful. So thank you to everyone that has been here, that has been supporting, and yeah, just know that your subscription is free. It only takes a second, and if at any point you feel like my quality content is dropping, you're all more than welcome to unsubscribe. I want to be able to dish out proper content, and I want to be able to make you all happy. I want to be able to make you all have discussions about the game. Yeah, once again, thank you for watching, and thank you for being here. I hope you'll have a great and amazing rest of your days, nights, mornings, whatever time zone you're watching this video at, and have a great day. Bye.